Welcome to Betting on Sports in America. This is Phil Beer, and I'm with Walt Fales from Caesars. Walt, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you share with those watching and listening a little bit more about you and what you do at Caesars?
Sure. So I'm the SVP of Strategic Development for Caesars. I am heavily focused in the sports betting world and the casino of the future. Those are the two predominant reasons why I joined Caesars about 2 years ago. And we are currently focused on reinventing the sportsbook experience, which is something that post-PASPA we've been very fortunate to have an opportunity to do. And I think gone are the days of the mega sports books with the large screens, the theater-style seating, the pillarless or columnless venues, because many of the locations that the new sports books are going in across the country don't have those luxuries. It's smaller venues that are currently being utilized for slot machines or food and beverage outlets. They're lower ceilings, they're older buildings, they've got columns everywhere. So we're trying to create a new concept that's more focused on being social, more focused on being a multi-purpose venue as opposed to consuming all that real estate for just one operation that 80 to 90% of the time doesn't have a lot of people in it, and doing some really fun things in that environment.
Well, we're going to rewind, okay? I'm going to go back a little bit here. What was the aha moment when you and your team said, we have to reinvent the sportsbook?
So we did a lot of research for this Casino of the Future project that I've been working on for the last year and a half. And so a lot of the takeaways from that were, the new generation of gaming doesn't really like to gamble. They like to actually game. They like to esports. They like to sports bet. They like to do virtual reality. They like to do different things. They like to constantly be engaged in activities, but have lots of different types of things to do as opposed to rely upon traditional slots and table games. They like to be social. They like to do things in groups, in packs. And so when we thought about the sportsbook experience and kind of commingled, the pre-existing building conditions and not being able to create these mega experiences anymore with the learning lessons from this consumer insight, we said, let's turn sports betting on its head. Let's turn it more like Buffalo Wild Wings or Yard House and create these experiences that are more like a theater in the round where we could be sitting here having this conversation and I can be watching screens over your head and you can be watching screens over my head, and we can create this fun experience where we're still hanging out, we're sharing wings, we're doing stuff, we're having a beer together, and we're able to monetize it from the business perspective in multiple different ways and just create a really fun environment.
We want to hear about monetizing, but wait, how do you get the consumer information and feedback as part of the design process?
Yeah, so that's challenging because everyone has a very subjective view on design. So that makes it a very unique process. But what we did learn from our consumer research and also a little bit of intuition and customer feedback, just kind of boots on the ground, is that the stereotypical casino that's got a lot of colors and kind of lots of vibrancy and kind of sometimes looks like a crayon box exploded isn't necessarily the design aesthetic of newer patrons and even patrons of old. And so we've gone with a more simplified approach, a little bit more taupes and grays and blacks and whites, and simplified the aesthetic to make it cleaner and more sophisticated, because we're relying upon the colors of the individuals who are coming in wearing flannel shirts or whatever they might be wearing in that particular jurisdiction, in addition to all the audio visual, because we're surrounding this experience, this new theater in the round concept with hundreds of screens, and that creates the color contrast in these environments. And so by doing that, we're able to create a little bit more of a sophisticated design that has not been done historically in the casino business. And so far to date, with our test pilot at the Linq within Caesars Palace portfolio, it's been regarded very, very well.
Some of the operators listening to this interview, let's talk numbers. Share some numbers with us. Share us how much it is to reserve a booth.
Yeah. So have to be a little cautious on everything that I can share, but what I can share is that we have created a new type of experience called the Fan Cave. So inside of these intimate experiences, we've taken learning lessons from the nightlife industry, where we have created these kind of horseshoe-shaped or sofa-oriented, just private experiences that face a large screen. We give the customer control of the television, which is unheard of in the industry. We give the customer the opportunity to personalize their sound into this fan cave. We give them the opportunity to wear virtual reality goggles. We give them the opportunity to take their screens in front of them, of which they have one 98-inch screen and two 49-inchers, and convert the 98-inch into 4 screens. So now they have 6 screens that they can watch any game they want to. They can put odds up, they can put leaderboards up, they can put Shive TV up, they can do all sorts of fun things. And during commercial breaks, they can play Xboxes. So in these types of experiences, we've discovered that customers love them, whether it be a 2-drink minimum during off-peak periods or selling for $4,000 per day during the March Madness periods. And we have 12 of these things, so we're yielding them, but we're getting some really good numbers on that in these experiences, and people are willing to pay for them, get bottle service, and really hang out there and chill with all their friends all day long. So we've been really, really happy with that. And our bar revenues inside these just new reinvented experiences have doubled. So we've been really, really happy with that. And it's been great, and we're going to continue to roll out the pilots in new jurisdictions.
Well, it's interesting the amount of research that you and your team did before launching this concept, even as far as the name. Can you tell us a little bit about Fan Cave versus
Man cave, yes. So the idea spawned from the prototypical man cave. It's the guy's haven in the basement of his house where his wife doesn't bother him, and he can invite all of his buddies over, and he's got a refrigerator and a 30-year-old frame sofa and recliner and a large screen TV, and it's kind of his escape from the kids and the family for that 3-hour period during that football game. And the comfort of your own home is something we wanted to replicate in the sportsbook experience, because we're trying to get you out of it and give you a great environment. But we also want to give you the energy of a sportsbook, where you've got hundreds of people around you cheering and rooting on their teams, and even times being competitive against each other, and that creates some rivalry and some fun. So we brought this prototypical basement man cave into our industry and said, this is what we want to do. But we recognize through our consumer research that it's not just men who are enjoying these experiences, and so we want to continue to motivate and provide comfortable environments for ladies to be joining. They're a growing population of sports bettors, and so we renamed it the Fan Cave to make sure that it was more universal in that regard.
Any final thoughts for those listening before we say farewell?
I think that the sports betting experience has really changed. I think that there are a lot more casual fans out there, and people who just want to make basic bets and just hang out in fun environments and want to feel the energy of that sports experience more to your prototypical sports bar experience. And so with Caesars, we're really spending a considerable amount of time trying to create that ultimate sportsbook experience, which we call The Book, across our portfolio in these intimate spaces that just have a great feel to them and can be monetized, from food and beverage to sports betting to video gaming and esports. So we're really being thoughtful about how we do that for both ourselves as well as our partners that we're strategically aligning with.
And esports could be a whole nother interview.
Whole nother one.
Walt, thank you for being here.
Absolutely, pleasure.